Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Bobby here, and I'm here to chat with you about why you may need a marketing detox and why I think you need to stop doing a lot of the things that you've been doing. Today's live is really about me giving you permission to stop with all the craziness. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And so I wanted to drop in here with this message because I think it's an important message. So if we haven't met yet, or if you don't really know who I am, I'm Bobby Klink. I'm the founder of BobbyKlink.com. I'm a Harvard lawyer turned online entrepreneur, and I've built a multiple six-figure business over the past couple of years without doing any complicated stuff. I don't do any of the craziness that a lot of the other people in the online space do. And so I know it's possible to build a business without the craziness, and I want to give you permission to do the same. What inspired me to come live today to talk about this is a couple of things. One, I've been talking with my team about these thoughts and kind of about what I teach. And my team, as they've come on, a lot of them have experience in other areas and with other entrepreneurs and with other, situations, including their own businesses. And they've been blown away. They've been blown away by the results that I get given my reach. In other words, I don't have a huge list. I currently, my current email list that I'm emailing to is something like 5,500 people. Last year alone, I took 15,000 people off of my email list. Not people who unsubscribed, people who I said they're not opening, so I'm going to get them off my list. And my podcast, it has followers who love it, but I'm not getting, tens of thousands of downloads a week. And my website, if you go to my website, I get very few website visits compared to like a lot of other businesses. You look at my Instagram page, I've got, 1,700, almost 1,800 followers. On Facebook, I've got 2,000 or 3,000 followers to my page. I don't have a huge reach, but I have a multiple six-figure business. And I have it because I think I've focused on the right things and haven't been worried about the vanity metrics. And so I want to help you have that same approach. And I'm going to talk about some different things today. And candidly, I'm probably going to be up on a soapbox because I think people need it. But before I go in, the other thing that's kind of inspired me this live was my podcast episode yesterday was about what I call my non-launch launch method. This is basically an email-only launch method that I started last year, and I started doing it and found the power of doing it. I would send emails. I'd send emails over a week and make $50,000. Had it happen multiple times without, fail every single time. It worked for me. And so I wanted to share that with people. And when I sent my email about the podcast episode yesterday, I shared, among other things, that I've never had a six-figure launch. And that sometimes I'm envious of my friends who have, but then I remember the craziness that goes into it. And I've seen behind the curtain, and I know that oftentimes those six-figure launches aren't all they're cracked up to be. And when I sent that email, I got more positive response to that email than I think I've gotten to any email in a very long time, because it struck a chord. Because I think people wanted to hear someone who is saying, you don't have to do the crazy. So that's the other thing that inspired this live. So now I want to talk about it, and we're going to talk about 5 things here because you know me, I'm going to talk about stuff I want to give, and I want to actually kind of help you along the way. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that you have to stop listening to gurus. And it may seem weird because I'm kind of a guru, right? And I'm saying don't listen to gurus. And I mean it seriously, because I think the biggest problem for online entrepreneurs is they're listening to too many people and chasing and chasing and chasing. You've got people saying you're just one funnel away, and they've got this really complicated funnel map that they're going to show you that has, 150 different lines that make my head spin. Or you've got the people saying you've got to have a Facebook group, or no, it's your organic Facebook traffic, or it's Instagram traffic, or it's TikTok, or it's who knows what else. And then you've got people saying you've got to have a course, you've got to have a membership, you've got to have group coaching, you've got to have a mastermind. And it goes on and on and on. And the problem is that too many of us are hearing all that and feeling like we have to do all the things. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do all the things. And in fact, if you do all the things, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you because you'll be chasing all the things from all the different people instead of focusing on what you actually should be focusing on. And so I'm here to tell you that part of what you need to do, part of your marketing detox is you have to decide you're not going to listen to all the gurus. And I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with listening to them. I listen to a lot of gurus. I follow a lot of gurus. I simply have decided I'm not going to actually do what they're talking about, at least not now. I put it on a squirrel list. Maybe someday I'll come back to it. I mean, literally, someone emailed me yesterday, wanting a mastermind. And that's something that's kind of on my squirrel list. Like maybe one day I'll start a mastermind, but I'm not there right now. And I'm not going to start trying to do that. So the first thing I want to tell you that's part of your marketing detox is you've got to stop listening to the gurus because they will splinter your attention. They will splinter what you're working on. Now, the next piece of advice and next part of your marketing detox is related, and it's that you have to stop chasing secrets and ninja tactics. If you know me and have listened to me for any time, I have talked about this so many times. And one of my favorite sayings goes back, and it's kind of a paraphrase, or not a paraphrase, but a turn on the old, saying, don't trust Greeks bearing gifts that come from the Trojan horse thing. Don't trust gurus bearing secrets. If a guru comes to you and says, I've got a secret strategy, or I've got a ninja tactic, I've got this software and it's going to solve all your problems, run. Run the other way as fast as you can. Because there are no secrets. There is no ninja tactic. There is nothing that is actually going to make the difference in your business. That is like this little thing you just don't know. I can tell you, I hang out with multiple 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs. There aren't secrets. We're not having some, secret conversations that you're not in on. That's not what's happening. That's not the difference. My business didn't take off because I had some amazingly cool funnel strategy that no one else knew about. Or because there was this one little kind of post that, if you use this on social media, it's going to solve all your problems. No, none of that crap matters. And the longer you're chasing that stuff, the longer it is that you're not doing what you should be doing. So the second part of your detox is stop looking for secrets, stop looking for shortcuts, stop looking for ninja tactics and things like that. All of those things can be bells and whistles, and I'm not talking about secrets, but like the more advanced strategies, they can be bells and whistles that get added later. But they're like the sprinkles on top of the icing on top of the cake. The cake, and this is what I want to go to next, is about keeping it simple. Business really isn't complicated. It's not easy, but it's not complicated. If you want to build an online business that's that's going to be successful, you got to first start by just understanding your people. When I listen to entrepreneurs who struggle at just about every phase of the game, it's because they don't understand their people. Maybe they've done the fake ICA work that, this little worksheet that people have you do where you fill out and create this, fictional person in your mind, and you talk about what you think they think. But you haven't actually gone to understand what your people actually think, actually say, what they're actually struggling with, what they're actually talking about. That is the thing you need to be doing. You have to get to the point that you understand your people at a deep level. I've told this story so many times, but I'm going to tell it again because I think it's worth talking about. The word overwhelm isn't a word that really resonates for me because I tend not to get overwhelmed. When I have more balls up in the air, I do better. But the people I serve often suffer from overwhelm. Actually, it's the biggest complaint I hear. And so I talk about overwhelm. And again, this whole message, if you think about it, about marketing detox is about not being overwhelmed. And I give this message because I know it's what you need to hear. And you need to do the same thing with your audience. You need to understand them. Don't put your views on them. Don't assume you know. You have to go and truly understand them. And if you do that, everything else gets simple. Because the next thing you start doing is you start creating content that talks to or speaks to what your audience needs to hear. Their struggles, their pain points, all of those things. When you start actually talking to that and addressing that, guess what? People are attracted to you. And you create freebies that address those pain points, address those things, and people will join your list. And then you start emailing the people and sharing yourself and connecting with them and nurturing and increasing the know, like, and trust factor and treating people like people, not like numbers, not like a subscriber, but as a person. And guess what? Those people who initially came to you for content go from not knowing who you are to a cold lead to someone who is a raving fan and wants to do business with you. And then when you get to that point, guess what? It's easy to sell because you say, hey, I know what you need. I can create a product that addresses that thing. Here it is. Do you want it? And people will buy. Now, it's a bit more complicated than that. You have to actually present it in the right way. But if you do this work in that way, that is 80% of the game. Your launch method doesn't matter. Your, having, the perfect webinar type of structure doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters if you get the basics right. If you get the basics right, you can sell to people with email, you can sell to people with a webinar, you can sell to people with a challenge, you can sell to people with a 3-part video series, you can sell to people with my coach James Wedmore's new theory called a chaunch, which is a combination of multiple pieces of that. Because the point is, you know what your people need, you know what their pain points are, you can speak to them, you can address them, and you have a product that solves them. If you have that, everything else takes care of itself. So you don't have to be freaked out by a webinar or freaked out by any of the other stuff or feel overwhelmed. So again, if you keep it simple and do the basics right, understand your people, create great content, create great freebies, nurture them, and then create a product that actually talks to them, it'll work. So that's kind of the third piece of your marketing detox. Now, the next piece of your marketing detox is the concept that you don't need to be everywhere. And this is something that I think overwhelms way too many people because we hear about people talking about all the things and all the places. So we think I need to be on Facebook. I need to be on Instagram. I need to be on Pinterest. I need to be on TikTok. I need to be on LinkedIn. I need to be on Twitter. You don't. I'm just going to stop that right now. I'm going to be candid with you and help you understand. I built a multiple 6-figure business, and basically the only place that I have been consistently is Facebook. I'm working on Instagram, but it's Facebook. I built my business on one social media platform, and you can too. And in fact, you should. Until you have at least $500,000 in revenue a year, you should focus your efforts on one social media platform. And you should be there all the time. And I don't mean all the time of wasting your time, but my point is instead of spending 10 minutes a day in 5 different places, spend 50 minutes a day in one place. And even within whichever social media platform you choose, you want to focus. I built my business originally by spending my time in 2 or 3 communities and developing a reputation as the legal guy who gave a ton of value in those communities. So I want you to focus. Don't go everywhere. Be one place all the time. And that applies to social media, but it also applies to the other things. Don't create 10 products. Create 1 or 2 products. Just keep things simple and focus on this rule of 1. Be one place and be there all the time, and it will be so much better than trying to be everywhere. So that's the fourth part of your detox, is kind of this rule of 1 concept. And the final piece I want to talk about for the marketing detox, and this is where I have to give you a, maybe in some ways it's going to be refreshing, but for other people, it's going to be a bit of a downer. There is no one person who you can simply follow their path. You're going to have to create your own path online, in business, in everything you do. Unless you're starting a franchise business, like unless you're going to go start a McDonald's, no one's going to give you a playbook that you can literally just execute and it's going to be perfect. You're going to have to take things you've learned, figure out how they work for your business, and then figure out a plan that makes sense for your business, for your life, for your goals, for all of the things that you have going on. And again, part of that is that you don't have to feel like you have to do anything. So this is how it should be freeing. You don't have to do a webinar or a launch or any of those complicated things if that doesn't fit your business. So that's part of the way that it's freeing. Now, the other part of where I think it makes people nervous is it means you have to do some thinking. You have to do some strategizing. It's not just plug and play. But I'm going to tell you, that's the reality. And if you want a plug and play business, it's going to be tough to find it because there aren't plug and play businesses, at least not if you want to really get success. So that's kind of the final piece. So that's kind of in a nutshell. Just to quickly recap the kind of 5 things I talked about that are part of your marketing detox. 1, stop listening to gurus. They are confusing you. They're overwhelming you because you're hearing all of these different people pitching different things that they present as you've got to do it. 2nd, stop chasing secrets. There are no secrets. And the sooner you get to that point and stop looking for a quick fix, the better you're going to be. 3rd, keep your business simple and focus on the stuff that matters. Understand your people, create the content they want, nurture them with emails, develop a product based on what they need and maybe even based on what they tell you, and then you can sell it to them. Next, apply the rule of 1. Don't try to be everywhere. Try to be in one place all the time, and that applies to social media and other things as well. And then finally, understand that you have to create your own path. So that includes the freedom to not follow anyone else, to the letter, but also the responsibility that you've got to do it yourself. So that's the marketing detox that I think you need to do. And I just wanted to come in here and talk about this because I believe all of this stuff kind of to the core of my being. And this is why in my membership site, the Fans First Society, I don't talk about like specific tactics. I don't tell people go to Facebook and do this. I mean, I teach people what I've done, but largely it's about an approach to business, an approach of actually building your business the right way, the simple way, the sustainable way. And I do that because I know it works. I've seen the power of it in my business, and I've seen the power of it in other people's business. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in and something you'd like to learn more about right now, this Friday, so it's Wednesday, in 2 days, I'm running my monthly workshop for my Fans First Society members. It's my February workshop, and it's promo emails that sell. I'm going to teach people how I go about writing promotional emails and email sequences, including my launch sequence, but also my sequence for webinars. And people who are there are going to get, I think, 120 pages of swipe. Basically, I'm just giving people my stuff, saying, here's what I've sent and here's what's worked. It's going to be packed with value. Everybody who's a member will get access to it. If that sounds interesting and you want to dive deeper in the Fans First Society and understand the way of doing business that I talk about, you can sign up for a $1 trial. You get 14 days to try it out. You get the workshop, you get all that stuff for just $1. You can find out more by heading to bobbyklink.com/February 2020 workshop. Again, bobbyklink.com/February 2020 workshop. Find out all the details. You can sign up. Like I said, just $1. You get access to the workshop and all the other stuff. You can dive in right now and look at the stuff I've talked about in the past. Decide if this works for you. Decide if you like kind of my approach. And I think you will. So I look forward to seeing you. But no matter what you do, my big call to action to you today is stop the madness. Stop the overwhelm. Focus on what matters. And you will be so much happier and so much better off. That's it for now. I'll talk to you later.